So, we are starting episode 13 of Dumpling School, the school to learn how to be a good wife. One of the things that I got shared with this week, and this is basically the concept of how to make more dumplings. So, little information, background here. Something that started with the eco hackers is a teasing joke about a teasing joke about what calling girls different types of pastries. And yeah, if you really want to know about all the sides of the mind, the developments, SD, UD, UF, SF, all that fun stuff, definitely go to school.com/CF Joseph. That is SKOOL.com/CS Joseph. I will put the link on the video for you. So, okay. Um, yeah, dumplings are the ones that are UDPF. That is unconscious developed perception focused, or perception female. I think that's what they stand for. But where JF is judgment female, judgment focused female. So, yeah. So, for a long time, we taught, or basically Chase taught in his community that once a girl hit around her 20s, basically she ended up getting into being UD or SD and then could not change that development back and forth. And some things he's noticed is that it is possible to change that development. So I am actually going to go through how to actually go from SD to UD. I'm also going to do a little bit of the going from UDJF to UDPF. That is in one of the school things. You're going to have to actually figure out your type and some other details from school to actually truly accomplish it. But at least I could give you the piece that would actually go from, I think we called them muffins to dumplings. Let me pull up a piece of information real quick because that will help me. Just pull up my type. That should help. And I know. Okay. So, when a girl that should be UDPF, when her uncertainty function is not being taken care of, she will go to UDJF. And the way to take care of that, to go back to PF, is to get that certainty function handled. Most likely her environment that she is in, her husband and everything will need to take care of that function, make sure that function is healthy and satisfied. And when that function is healthy and satisfied, she will go right back in from a muffin to a dumpling. It basically is a natural transition there. It's actually, we've been talking about that for a handful of months already. So yeah, certainty function, when that flips into being satisfied and taken care of, and it's like in my personal marriage, that is one of the functions that is usually extremely happy. And so I don't necessarily need to worry about being JF most of the time. I usually stay in PF mode. So that is how to go from that to that. So the one that for quite a long time we've been taught that you can't do is going from SD to UD. And the likelihood of it happening may be very small, but it is possible. They've been researching it, especially with the guys in Hacked Off and and the ego hackers in school talking about, hey, cool, guys can transition from UD to SD. They do every day from work, UD to SD, SD to UD, just depending on where they are. And that's all fine and good, but what happens if a guy actually accomplishes that? And we actually recommend that people are in UD-UD relationships or SD-SD relationships. So if they're both SD and then the guy decides to fully transition to UD, what happens to their marriage? Because we also teach we don't want divorce to happen. We don't want fatherlessness. So that puts them in opposite sides. And you would have a exploder and exploder relationship, and that could be very, very stressful. Lots of arguments, lots of fightings, all that fun stuff. So that's one of those things I was like, hey, there has to be a solution here for the ladies. And for a while it was like, oh, they just need to be harmonious and it will kind of work out, kind of. However, that puts SD girls into their UF state, and it also does not seem healthy. So we've been kind of looking at how to have that happen in a permanent manner. And there's a handful of people in Ego Hackers that are actually really looking into this. They have an established marriage with young children. The man wants to go into a UD mode and wants his wife to actually also come into UD mode. So they finally figured out how to go about this. So first of all, they have to be in a situation that they can experiment with this. If you are both living with his parents or her parents or in a environment where you don't have control of the environment, it can be extremely challenging because you don't just dealing with a husband and wife trying to work on their development. You also have the parents that will be interfering into that situation. That environment is not necessarily controlled by them. It is controlled by outside forces as well. So if they are living on their own, whether it's their own apartment, whether it is in some type of mobile situation like they have an RV on the road, depending on that, whether they're just being together type of some way, or if they have their house or something like that, you basically need to set up that house, that apartment, that living space, that home to be a UD space. The guy can go to work and he could be harmonious at work, but when he comes home, he will also need to be UD at home. So once he is UD at home, the wife could also stay UD at home. Now, this means a little bit of change, a little bit of learning to do some things a more harmonious way, expressing and everything else. It can be done. Let me see what that was. See if it's important. No, it's not important at all. Okay. It's something that can be done. So she would need to learn to be harmonious to him at home. Stay in that harmonious mode. And also start working with the kids, having them also being used to mom being UD. This means softer expressing. This means all the other methods of tools. You could actually pull up the Zach Brody books and read through them on some of the expression and all that fun stuff. How to express, how to do that, how to actually have communication with your spouse and be in that environment. The other piece is that the woman needs to learn how to be in her aspiration. And this is actually the huge secret, finding your aspiration and leaning into it. So I think a couple weeks ago, trying to remember. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I went into the 4 feminine archetypes. So once you find your feminine archetype, find out what your aspiration archetype is. That aspiration archetype if you lean into that aspiration archetype, you will start leaning into your aspiration. So, myself, I am mother archetype. For me to be more in my aspiration, that means me leaning into maiden. I have another friend that she is a consort archetype. She would be leaning into matron. And for those that are maiden, would be leaning into the mother archetype. And those that are matron archetype would be leaning into consort. And I think that's the puzzle there. I think that's most of the pieces. I did all four, and I think I have it laid out right. I just kind of like hit and miss which ones, so hopefully I have them right. So lean into that. One good way to help lean into that is finding a friend in your same, and this word I'm trying to make sure I get right. It's not temple, it is, I know for me it's Wayfarer. So, Wayfarer, Crusader, Philosopher, and the words are escaping me. No. Okay. Temple. Temple's the other ones. Body, heart, soul, mind. Oh, I can't remember the word. One of my audience members help me. um. Yeah. Used to be A, B, C, G, or something like that. But anyway, so me as a wayfarer. Yeah, the other side, the other pieces. It is escaping my brain. Quadras. Yes, this it is. So you find your quadra, and then you find the archetype, your subcategory archetype. Yeah, that thing, those things. Yes, thank you. You find your quadra, and so your quadra of your subconscious archetype. You find a girl of that. So I would find a UD Wayfarer maiden. So there's two types of those. Somebody else might need to be finding a not consort, we'll just do a matron crusader, one of those. And I'm just giving some examples, or let's say a Templar philosopher. That would be for another type of person. So, no, not Templar philosopher. Oh, I'm getting all tangled up. Anyway, you find basically one of the a female that is in one of those two slots that is the same quadra and the opposite archetype, and you basically start trading your archetype. So I would be teaching the maiden mother skills, and the maiden would be teaching me maiden skills. And by that exchange, it helps both of us go into our opposite archetype better. Yeah, maiden would look for mother, matron would look for consort. Excuse me, need water. Mother would look for maiden, consort would look for matron. Yes. So you basically start learning how to trade those. And that will help the SD lady find let's say a mother archetype that's UD, and you start actually trading those skills. And I would find if I was SD, I would look for a maiden that's UD, and I would learn from her. And that will actually push me into my subconscious. And when I start being in my subconscious more, I will begin acting more UD, and it will basically get my brain to basically resync over to being UD. Um, so like, there's a lady here in my audience that if I was actually SD, I could actually talk to her, work with her, and she would basically learn some other stuff, and I would learn maiden stuff, and we would basically, as I actually, just talk and learn things and do things and share some of the other things with her, then I would actually become UD. And basically, her UD-ness would kind of rub off on me. And I would be in my aspiration more. And it makes it really easy to do that. And actually, I was actually kind of sitting there thinking through everything. And I kind of realized that the UDPF does actually seem, because we're subconscious focus, we actually act a lot more of our subconscious more. And I actually were looking at this when I was trying to figure out, what changed over some time. And I realized that, yes, the UDSF actually is subconscious focus there. Um, and it actually starts using that subconscious more and more. So, yeah, that is the secret from for a woman to go from SD to UD. So you'd need to have your own space, because I actually looked at this. Like um, if you're trying, you need a space that actually would allow you to work on that archetype. So let's say I was basically under my parents' house. My mom would be like, "Oh, you need to do this and this and this and this and this," and she'd be pushing her own archetype on me. And my stepmom was very much pushing matron archetype on me, and didn't allow me to really get into maiden archetype. And so that's not an environment for me to work on maiden. Versus my husband, who's like, "Oh, you want to get healthy? Okay, cool. You're cool about having a treadmill in the house? Okay, cool. Let's get a treadmill." So we have things in our house for me to work on my health. We have exercise equipment, we have healthy food and stuff like that. That allows me to focus on maiden a little bit. I talk to somebody else and be like, "Oh yeah, that situation would not allow them to lean into matron, or not allow them to lean into mother or consort." You need your house to be able to allow that. You need your man, whether as a boyfriend or husband or whatever your actual title on your relationship is. He needs to be trying to also be being UD, so that you can have that communication skill going through. A room of one's own. I would actually have to read through that. But yes, you would need that, but you probably not just need a place for expression, but you'll also need to be practicing working with your man on the communication skills, because another piece of it is actually getting the expression patterns down again, because a lot of us, we pick up our explosion implosion from our conflict resolution as a kid. So it's kind of like my dad taught me to implode. My sister learned to explode in the same environment. So you need to have your man to be able to practice that with. And that way you start getting the patterns of conflict resolution going. That way, when things get tough, you're not exploding, you're imploding a little bit, but you're able to actually do that communication pattern where you basically express and have that going on. So, and then the third thing is finding somebody that you can be, finding a female friend to actually help you with your archetype, which could be interesting, and also one that puts you more into your subconscious focus. So That is the huge secret. I'm sure Chase will be sharing a lot more of it in school and in his other podcasts. Definitely check check into Hacked Off. Definitely check into his YouTube channel, and definitely check school. So I am going to see if there's any other comments or questions from my live audience here. Um, but I know this has actually been a question that a lot of the ladies have. How can I go from UDUF or UDJF to UDPF? And how can, if a lady wants to, how can she go from SD to UD? Okay, seeing if there's anybody else. Any comments? I see some typing, so I'm going to wait just a little bit longer. But yes, going from JF to PF, again, taking care of your certainty function. Is there a possibility of conflict between the women? I don't know. Trying to think. Yeah, I can see that there could be, but I am thinking that in a environment like our ego hackers community, our ladies in noble character, it is quite possible that there could be an understanding where I am wanting to practice being UD, and some of my oopsies will be caught and overlooked. Like one of my friends here in Ladies in Noble Character, when we talk, there's a few times she was like, "Ooh, you're getting a little bit J there," and I was like, "Ooh, yeah, I need to back down. What's going on here?" And so I analyzed myself, like, "Uh-oh." Basically, at some point, I was feeling uncomfortable with something, and a little bit of that, uh, you know, my sides of the mind switch, the octogram switch was happening on me, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, thank you for catching that." So, yeah, if you find somebody you could get along, try to get along a little bit, and say, "Hey, this is what I'm actually trying to do," and they may actually be a lot more uh, gentle and helping, and not have as much of a conflict, especially if they know that you're trying to grow and learn. Um, I wouldn't necessarily. I could see that some people might go like, "Oh no, I don't know what's going on here. You seem to be UD and SD all at the same time, and that could be confusing." Um, we've actually had a few people that were kind of confused on whether they're UD or SD. So, uh, if you're basically trying to adjust that, just let them know. Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do. And yes, come to the UD side. We have dumplings. So again, this is our the CEO Dumpling, as my nickname is on Eco Hackers, with Dumpling School. I came late. Oh, I have another question. I came late, but do the archetypes learn from each other if UD or SD? Yes, the archetypes can learn from each other. Your two strongest archetypes, and the lady that's asking this, your two strongest archetypes would be Maiden and Mother. And so you should be learning from both of those the most. Yes, knowing how to do the rest, a little bit of matron, a little bit of consort is good, but your specializing is supposed to be maiden and mother. And yes, you can actually learn from other matrons and or other mothers as well. And she's asking more questions. Woohoo! I think. Giving a little bit of time. What do maidens learn from mothers? Trying to figure out how much I could share without giving too much away. It's kind of like the skills that a mother would need. Um, One of the things that mothers do is growing people and taking care of people. Um, that's why I was kind of looking at like growing people, taking care of people. So you can learn to express how to grow somebody well. Um, let's say you are a maiden and you're teaching other people about health, teaching other people about fitness, teaching other people about how to be beautiful, how to be a good maiden. That would actually be a really good start to actually start picking up. Maybe finding somebody that is a mother and help them with their child, like, oh, have you looked at the nutrition for the child? Oh, okay, cool, yeah, this is what I found. How are you doing this development? And you start learning from her as much as she is learning from you as well. Let's see. Yeah. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more detail in school on the archetypes. I know they had some, but I may actually see what I can do to actually detail it a little bit more. I just want to make sure that I am protecting the business at school as well. Um, but yeah, it is how you learn and teach. Um, well, actually, not just learn and teach. It is how you basically share the things you pick up. And well, also ask questions in the Ladies and Noble Character blocks of stuff. There is places to like, oh, this is what we're doing here and here and here. So anyway, again, thank you for watching Dumpling School, and we are on episode 13. Uh, if you have any questions, ideas for shows, just drop them to me either in the chats or even DMs if you're embarrassed, which is cool. And I will actually start working those into future shows. So thank you and have a beautiful day.